Hi everyone, welcome back. So we're going to start talking about global IT threats. But more importantly, I thought I'd take this lecture a little closer to home. And I went over some of my research notes and data and points that I found. And I'm going to discuss some of these things that are really local and how they affect us right here at home. Your wallet, your computer, your family, your friends. So global IT threats is really a terrorism threat today. Take back a look. I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but this Cobface idea was a malicious worm and attacked social media, and particularly Facebook was one of the ones it really went after because you're linked into so many people, so many friends. And what it did was it sent you an email. It said, oh my God, look. So what do? We look. One of the famous ones was Miley Cyrus in the nude, so a lot of people clicked on this. And as soon as they did this, the worm was implanted in your Facebook profile. And it went in and stole your login credentials, and more importantly, it filtered out to every single friend you had and grabbed all their information, all their data, all their logins. And every time they logged into something else, their LinkedIn, their MySpace, their Snapchat, it grabbed their logins for it. And they were able to start pulling data from every single one of those sites. They went into banking. It grabbed your banking site logins and was able to mask everything and send it back. An incredible worm. Terrible threat that just globally spread so fast. It was incredible from a few computers right here at home. Another issue was Firesheep. This was an interesting idea and concept. It actually attached as a Firefox plugin. If you use Firefox, I do, a lot of times you'll put the plugins so they work together faster with Microsoft Word or different aspects, and they'll update automatically. Well, the plugin would jump and hijack in all your accounts again the same way. In particular, they looked at Facebook because so many people have friends interconnected. It's like a spider web of all these nodes. And as soon as they got in, they did session jackings. They took over the screens remotely. You didn't even know it. Opened another page and were chatting with your friends to get into their friends and keep spiraling that out. So they actually faked that they were you. This was found to come out of St. Petersburg, Russia, and that's where the hijackers were actually sought and found. More in particular, they were seeking children's Facebook accounts because a lot of children will utilize their parents' credit cards, and the parents aren't monitoring them at all times, and they don't know until they get the receipt from the credit card bill what happened, or a notice from the credit card company that thousands have been charged instantaneously. They captured, they'd get cash advances, and this is all coming out of St. Petersburg, Russia. An amazing feat, but then, still terrorism overall. So what does this amount to today that I really kind of look at personally as this idea of stalkers and bullies, and not just the domestic, but the global threat of what can happen because of these people and what's happening. Cyberbullying, if you look at it today, Carnegie Mellon University found that over 40,000 children are stalked right now this year. And one of the most interesting cases was James Dean. A guy impersonated, came up, used the simple grab-on photo from stock file of James Dean and made a Facebook page like he was him. Got some young girls interested. His name was Christopher Danvig. And he actually found one girl and was enticed by her and started actually looking and studying her, analyzing her profile, analyzing everyone she talked to, watching her. She was in Sydney, Australia. She was 18 years old at the time. She had posted all this material about being an animal lover, and that's how he hooked her. He kind of did it as the fact that he was a recruiter for an animal shelter there in Sydney that's in a remote area starting up, and they're looking for people to help and do a charity event to save these animals' lives. He was doing this all remotely. He actually flew in and came into Sydney and met the girl and took her out to this remote area to show her where the shelter was going to be and strangled her to death. It's a very sad case, and this is happening more and more. It's very prolific. We see this on television today with different TV shows that are actually using police officers to fake that they're young children to lure criminals in who are trying to do this type of material and catching them. I believe it's called Catch a Predator, which is pretty disgusting, but the same thing's still happening today. A friend of mine who has a teenage daughter thought that he was watching her Facebook page as a friend and monitoring it. And he said, oh, well, my daughter doesn't have a Facebook page. Well, there's an actual thing where teenagers are using right now Facebook pages so that their parents think that they deleted them. But Facebook has a policy of when you delete your page, it doesn't go away for 48, 72 hours. So you're able to go back on, reopen the page, reclose it down, and no one knows that you have the page still operating. So parents are duped. This is kind of a term they're calling jacking. It's an interesting way that if you have children, you need to think about this, that your children can be subjected to this material, and you think that they don't have a profile or they're not using it, but kids today are very cyber smart. And criminals are even smarter, and they'll tell the children to do this. One of the things that they've found in a couple studies is this sexting in high school. And now it's not really terrorism in the essence of what we think, but let's break it down just a little bit. Now let's show how this is actually a global and domestic issue. They found that 67% of females said that they engaged in this. Now this is high school students. And from this, Hunter Moore, if you've never heard of him, created sites. One of them myx.com, another one was anyoneUp.com. He was a jilted lover, a young man, and he created a data depository of pornographic images of boyfriends that were jilted by their girlfriends, or their girlfriend was thought cheating on them. They got and exposed pictures of them in the nude or anything they could find, and they put it on this site, defaming the individuals and sharing all this posts. Well, when it first started, there was over 250 million posts and views. That's incredible. This is the first session starting. One of the girls was a little 12-year-old girl named Amanda Todd, and a stalker used this site and got her to reveal her breasts in a photograph, captured it, it was a live viewing, into a photograph, posted on this, and then he put it into a Facebook profile and watched them, and kept telling all of her friends to go to this site to look. She was cyberbullied in school, humiliated, she kept spiraling down, refused to tell anybody, all the kids were making fun of her. The man ended up saying, if you don't come and meet me and do sex acts, then I'm going to continue to post this and send it to all your friends. She was so horrified. By the age of 15 years old, she did a YouTube post saying that she was going to kill herself because of all this. And unfortunately, the little girl did take her life. And this man was nowhere near her. An incredible feat. But this is happening all over the world today. It's not just this. This is happening with sex trafficking. And this is one of the ways that global IT is influencing the sex traffic trade, that it's utilizing and capturing young girls. And they're so in fear of their friends finding these images or things out that they are actually going and meeting these people. And it's actually a cartel system and being taken. And this is one of the ways that it's happening. Here's an interesting case. I talked to a former boss of mine about this and tried to explain the dangers of what he was doing with his Facebook posting. There's a site that was called Please Rob Me, to where there was actually out of New Hampshire a crime ring that was watching and had a worm and an algorithm for anyone posting pictures that they are in Disney World away on vacation. As soon as they would do this, they would go to your house and rob you. Incredible. My boss was taking his 2 young boys, he was a hero to them, for a vacation at the time, about 2 years ago. Started posting, we're going to be here 2 weeks, this is the greatest adventure, we're so blessed. I immediately called him and said, stop, take down all your posts, you're crazy. He said, why? So I posted back to him a picture of his house, and I said, I'm going in your house, and I'm going to steal all your toilet paper, because I know you're away, you have no alarm system, there's nothing you can do about it. frightening. But this was a crime ring that sent other criminals in every state to go and attack homes where people posted pictures of them being in the greatest place in the world, Disney World. Mexico's violent drug cartels using it. They call themselves the Zetas or the Zs, and they're using this to send messages and gain other memberships the same way, and to do the same type of robbery systems. They're looking to get and steal, and then they put your stuff out in pawn shops, or they'll post it on local storyboards and act like they live in your home, and they're having a lawn sale, and everything in your house is for sale. Crazy. There's also another sect that tapped into police emails using the same idea so they can find out whether anybody knows about them. It went as far as Scotland Yard and all the global agencies that they wormed into every police officer who's tied into Facebook together. They in turn used YouTube to post threats in the police that if they would tell anything about their robberies, that they would come get them. They had pictures of their children, their wives, their vacations. They knew where they lived, their telephone numbers. Amazing information can be found on your Facebook page if you're foolish to put it out there. One of the sects even showed how they were able to turn down the wind turbines in Massachusetts and said, if you don't listen to us and let us go after the money we're after and don't leave us alone, we'll destroy this. They did a demonstration to the police. Scary. They call a lot of these places bonnet networks. And today, one of the most prolific ways is that mobile devices. Almost everyone in the world has mobile devices today because they're readily, easily, and to access internet. So they're attacking and hijacking the mobile devices. Think about it. Everywhere you walk today, you get boinked into free wireless. And all you have to do is click, yes, terms of service agreement. As soon as you're in there, you're in. And nobody ever reads these terms of service. In most cases, it will say anything from they're allowed to capture all of your data, turn on your microphone, take your photographs, turn on your video. We're going to talk more about this in a minute. They end up being remote devices for theft. They capture everything you do. Think about what you do on your mobile device today. I do banking. I do credit card purchases. My bills are automated to pay every account. I just get a text notice that they're paid. My device can be a drone device for somebody else's theft ring. You can be implicated because your IP address is involved now in a criminal conspiracy or action, if you're not careful. They also call these zombie networks, where they'll capture your phone and they'll let it sleep until it pings into a location where they want to be inside, an organization, or more importantly, your business where you work. 89% of employees use their bring your own devices to work today. Think about that. What if your neighbor in the next cubicle over is a zombie? And you're not a physical zombie in the idea, but their phone is one of the zombie networked phones. They're actually a mini tower. They're broadcasting information out. If anything's open port, they can crack into it. The same thing at the wallet cracker pins they're using. It's a mobile spying ring as well for espionage. Think about this. You're just walking harmlessly. Your phone's on your hip. Or it's connected into your wireless system at work. They can actually steal all your information and data, and you'll never know it, nor will your boss or anyone else. This is why it's such a problem today with BYOD devices. There has to be security issues and more terms of agreements. But then again, how do you stop this if you don't know it's there? Interesting aspect of governmental control and issues was the NSA's Prism Program. We all know about Snowden today and the things that's happened when he was able to capture data and release this information. But one of the most things that nobody really knows was the application Angry Birds. It went crazy, viral. Everybody had this free download. Loved it. I did it. It was cool. I remember an entire audience of over 1,000 people playing Angry Birds when Dr. Mitra was speaking the one time in California. And we all laughed. Here, the terms of agreement of the services actually allows everything to be captured from your phone. all your emails, all your photos, all your voice and videos. It's all in the terms of service agreement from Angry Birds, which is essentially created by our own government to watch and track for terrorism. It went global. Think about the amount of information. As soon as you open this app up and turn it on, you're subjected to everything. Your home wireless. Every aspect can be routed and grabbed now by our government. Is that safe? Is it protecting us? I'm not quite sure. Maybe it is a good program. Devious, but what else is out there that we don't know about? How many out there have criminal organization plans, or maybe they share it? Very frightening. Today, thinking of sharing in this idea, there's a concept of data brokers. They don't fall under the Fair Credit Reporting Act. They're outside of the law. They use terms of service agreements on everything to capture all of your data, especially on mobile devices. Axiom was a company created by Scott Howe. He said last year alone that 1.1 billion cookies have been established on mobile devices. That's different devices all over the world are subjected to these cookies. What does this mean? Well, there's proof in the danger, and I'll show you a case to where OfficeMax was buying mailing lists back out of this captured data for anyone interested in possibly buying paper, buying any of their products. And they started sending their flyers to home from what they captured. There's a man named Knight Seeley. He lost his daughter in a tragic car crash. She was killed with her boyfriend. It was an accident, terrible. Well, the data profiling that was grabbed, and one of the things said, daughter killed in car crash. When they sent him a flyer for this week's ads from the OfficeMax mailing list, they actually put on the mailing, daughter killed in car crash. Could you imagine going to your mailbox, picking up junk mail that you don't even want or know that's coming, and on it is a piece that says daughter killed in car crash, right after you just lost your daughter? How horrific. If they're able to do things like this, what are they doing to us today? What are they not releasing? How many of them are profiling you right now as you walk? Think about going to the grocery store, and next time you go today. I was recently in one where there's little machines that spit out coupons as you walk by. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. I come to find out that they're grabbing my mobile device and seeing what I like, and when I walk by, it activates if it's something that I'd like to buy. Crazy. Think about how many of these things are being sent to ads. I love Orvis clothes, and I'm a fly fisherman. Every time I pop up anything inside of my computer today, guess what shows up? An ad for Orvis clothes, an ad for Orvis fly rods. And all of them are replaced. Everywhere I go in every site, there's always a pop-up for Orvis. And that's because I went into an Orvis store 6 months ago. And I accessed their internet. Pretty frightening. Global IT has threats everywhere today. I kind of wanted to take you guys a little bit more internally on this lecture. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I didn't frighten you too much. But if you have children, I want you to think about the access and points that they have and what's happening around you. And more importantly, how you can protect your data, how you can be more careful, how you will have to kind of really pick and choose and read those terms of service agreements and what's happening. And if you jump onto someone's free wireless, is it really worth it? Gang, have a great day. Get out there, enjoy some sunshine, ride a bicycle, go for a swim, run, take a jog, walk your dog. Go play cards with your friend. Go to a library and read a book. Do something for yourself today. Have a great one. We'll talk again soon.